Hi guys, how are you doing? Welcome to this episode of storytelling, and you are lucky to be watching the very first episode of the storytelling segment. So as you're already aware, I'd already introduced this particular segment. So what I'm going to be doing is coming up here and telling you guys stories of people, very inspiring, educating, and motivating stories of some of my followers who are not really I would say they are camera shy, right? So they don't want to come up and give their stories on in front of the camera, right? So, and because these are stories that are very encouraging and motivating and very educative as well, I thought it was for me to come up with a way in which I can ensure that these stories reach to us real time. And that's the reason I introduced the storytelling segment. I am going to be bringing you stories of some of you who are camera shy, who have stories to tell, but they are not willing to come in front of the camera to tell their stories, right? So, have you subscribed to my channel? Okay. If you have not, you do not know what you're missing. On this one, we encourage, we motivate, we educate, and I want to thank my 209 subscribers. Right now we have 209. Our numbers are growing, right? But if you're watching us today and you have not been able to subscribe, I would politely request you to do so. Just hit that subscribe button, and it is going to go a long way in ensuring that our stories are heard. All right. And so on this one, stay tuned, because this is a very motivating story, educating story, and it is a story of domestic violence. All right. I am going to be giving you this story as though I would say first person, right? So I'm not going to be reporting the story to you. I'm going to give it as a first person. So stay tuned up to the end so that you be able to see what you can learn from these particular stories. And I promise there's a lot to learn. All right. Stay tuned. If you have not subscribed, please kindly subscribe too. Okay. Subscribe. Welcome to this big community. Not to appreciate. Okay. Now, here is the start of my story, okay? And as I've said, I'm telling this story first person, but I am like telling a story for one of my followers who have a very important and very inspiring stories they would like to tell. So stay tuned, because I'm like nimesema ndaisema ni kama ni mimi napitia. I will be telling these stories as if I am the one, okay? So nawapata kama mimi ni yeye. You know? Okay. On this one, so I was born in Voi, okay? Nilizaliwa Voi, and I grew up there. But my parents were not really capable of taking me to school. So trust me, hadi sijawahi and hadi nursery. Yani, I have never gone to school. The little that I know, I think the only things that I know right now are things that have been taught by the world, by my aunties, by life. I would say just life in general, because as you grow up, there are things that you are just forced to learn, okay? You need to kukua adult. So I grew up in that particular area in Voi. But ikafika place, then I realized that hakuna future pale, right? So I needed to just get out and start looking for ways in which I could fend for myself and perhaps have a brighter future. Nikaanza kuhustle, okay? Na nikapata job ya nini? Nikapata job ya housing, domestic assistance, right? And that's what I have been doing. I did that for a couple of years, say like 2 years. But then the people that I was working for were, the lady was very encouraging. She motivated me to work harder. She gave me the reasons to even work harder. Sometimes people don't know why I need to work hard, right? But she opened my eyes to different ways in which I could, have a particular path, okay? Because I was an hardworking person, and she noticed that sijaenda shule, but mimi ni mtu hardworking. So she decided just to hold my hand, push me forward, and to ensure that I am on the right track. So akaniambia, now you've been working for me for 2 years. What I would like you to do is just start something for yourself, because kuna vitu mob sana zile unaweza fanya, like unaweza ndo fungue hata kiosk uuze, And she gave me some head start. Okay, akanipatia 15,000, akaniambia 15,000 nimekuwa nikikuwekea because you have been a good person to my kids, to myself, and just to everyone in general that has been visiting me. So nakupatia hii 15,000 uende ukajikimu nayo. Okay, now when I got out of the house, at first, of course, she had to make sure that I have a business idea and I know exactly what I want to go and do so that she can release me. Some people are just heaven sent, I would say, because imagine if I stapled someone who was just not a kind person, saying perhaps I would still be a house help. But just moving on swiftly, what I decided to do is to unaona wale wenye tuna move kutoka kwa soko to soko. First I moved from Voi area, nikasema sasa niende side za Kibwezi. That is why I started doing a lot of, I saw opportunities. I knew people who had gone and settled there and their lives were just amazing. So I decided to go to that area and I would move from one so in those areas kuna market days, right? So kuna Monday ni market day soko flani, Tuesday ni market day siku nyingine ya place nyingine, like that. So nikajua because sina pesa yenye inaweza nifungulia shop, sina pesa yenye inaweza rent, what I am going to do, ndanunua hizi household items na ndakuwa nazi move kutoka kwa soko moja hadi soko nyingine, unaona? So natoka leo niko soko flani Makindu, so zile soko zenye nilikuwa na move around ni Makindu, kuna Kibwezi, kuna soko tu za huko mob, right? That's how I would be moving. So na move from soko moja hadi soko nyingine, and hii business ikakuwa lucrative, I would say. It got me a lot of money that I was at least, not a lot, but I was able to at least sustain myself to some extent. So I got myself one single room that I was staying. And it is during this period that I met this person that I thought loved me, okay? Because he confessed, he spoke of how he so passionately, so he spoke of how he loved me, on how he would kill for me, I'm gonna be hunting for you, nitapigana, wanaume mnajua kudanganya wasichana. So I would, the man was promising me heaven and earth, everything that every girl would want, okay? But I think perhaps he'd spotted that I didn't go to school and perhaps he was taking advantage of that. Lakini pia mimi nilikuwa street smart, nilikuwa najua what I need to do, and as much as I was also making my money, there is that ushisikia kitu ya maskini mjeuri, okay? So mimi nilikuwa maskini mjeuri, yani nilikuwa si bembelezi. And then I think also from the fact that nilikuwa najitafutia pesa, I knew with my money I can sustain myself. I mean, I don't need a man. But I met this person who swept me off my feet big time. He was handsome, tall, dark, and handsome, okay? He had everything that every girl would want. I mean, he was driving big cars. He was in the transport business, so he had owned his own matatus that were moving from Nairobi to those areas. And I saw a lot of love and I fell for him. I decided to give love a chance for the first time ever in my life, okay? So this guy married me because he didn't go to my family. He didn't do the dowry payments. There was no wedding, but we were staying together. So I would say it was like a cohabiting thingy, right? Come, we stay. So we're living together. We stayed together for like a year, and then I got pregnant. It was a beautiful moment. When I got pregnant, the guy was so loving, so caring. God, like if I want anything in the middle of the night, dude would step out, go and bring it to me. You understand? And so it reached a point where everything was just moving on very swiftly until one day, I heard a knock. I heard a knock on the at the place that we were living together, okay? And you guys will forgive me, let me just put something off. And when I heard this knock, I was not so sure whether I had any visitors, because I was pretty sure that there was no one who was visiting me. And so I went to check. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not know that this dude was married, and the wife was doing her own research, and she knew where I was staying, and she knew that I was pregnant. And at this time, I had just given birth to the baby girl. It was a girl. I'd already given birth. She was like a week or 2 weeks, so I was very new into motherhood. But then this lady knocks and tells me, she was very polite, very kind. So she came and told me, now, you have been staying with my husband. I do not know whether you know, but I am going to assume that you do not know. I just want you to know that he is married and he has kids elsewhere, and we are suffering because of you. Now tell me, if it were you, what would you have done? Like a lady comes and tells you that I have been suffering because of you. My kids have been suffering because of you. The last thing that I wanted to do at that particular point was to imagine that I have been causing some other family any sort of pain whatsoever, because this person never disclosed to me that he had another family. And it was just so new to me. I mean, it just came as a shocker. I did not know that I was the cause of pain for another person. And trust me, it was at that particular point that I knew that, of course, I was going to let go of this person. And immediately, or if not immediately, but when the lady left, of course, I apologized to her, and I told her that I didn't know that he was married. I did not know that he had a wife. And I would not consciously do it. I would not do it well knowing that someone is suffering at the expense of perhaps me having a good time and all that. So when he left, I just knew that was the moment for me to cut everything that I had with that man. Okay? And as much as perhaps every other person would have thought of their kids and how they're going to raise them, I knew that, of course, with the little that I'm getting from my business, I knew I could afford to bring up my baby the way I would want her to, and I would have a good time doing it. Okay? Excuse me. So, I let go. Immediately, I let go. I knew I am not going to have anything with you. Now I started life as a single mom. I brought up my girl with a lot of love, with a lot of kindness. I just knew that she's all I got, because remember, I moved out of my parents' place, and when I did, I had not had any follow-ups after that, or like any family member would say, I want to follow up, kwani alienda wapi, anaendeleaje, ako poa, ako fiti, you get. So I decided to, at this particular point, it's just me and the girl. Like, I do not have any other family member around me. And that's how we started life. That's how I started as a single parent. I moved on. I pushed on with life. I worked pretty hard. I got someone who I would live with. Of course, during the period when I was nursing, I got someone to help me with the business. And after, I was okay. So I got a house help, a domestic housewife to stay at home. And I left to continue working. Now, at this particular point, I'm loving that girl. She's my everything. I adore her, and there is nothing you can tell me or show me that would make me sway away from loving my daughter, because she's mine and I am hers, and we only got each other, period. Now, around 3 years down the line, of course, now I have been able to gather some money here and there, so I've gotten a place. I bought some land, and I built a small house that I was staying with the girl. All right. Now, but then again, after like 3 years, when the girl was around 3 years, I met someone else who, and you know, now to all single ladies out there, please note, when a man is pursuing you and he realizes that you have a daughter or a son, he is going to ensure that he is using that to get to you. So he will be the best person. He will be the best quote unquote stepdad. So he will try to be ensuring that he's checking up on you and the daughter and all that. So I met this person who was that kind of a person. He knew that I had a baby, and he was very, very kind. He would ensure that the girl is okay. Every time he would call, he would ensure that he speaks. Actually, there were no calls at that time, but the phones came a little bit later, but he would ensure that he's checking up on the girl every now and then, because we were not staying very far, but he would ensure that he's checking up on the girl. So I trusted him. All right, he earned my trust. Now, few years down the line, around 1 year, I think we dated for 1 year. Then I got pregnant again. Okay, for now this current one, because he's proved to be a good dad, and I am confident that I have the right person. Now, it is until I got pregnant that now I saw his true colors. All right, I saw literally his true colors, and why I kept on wondering, why would he wait and to the point where I am pregnant? But anyway, so I got pregnant, and I started seeing his true colors. It reached a point where the first time he ever hit me. The first time that he ever hit me was a period when I was working. I was pregnant, but I still went to work, and this time I came home slightly late, few minutes late. I think around 30 minutes late or something, because we had some hiccups with the matatu that I was using that time. Now, the beating I got, I could not believe that was a slap on my face. All right, I could not believe it, because first, it has been all rosy, it has been so cozy, he has been like the loving person, and all of a sudden he's just beating me because of what? Like being late for 30 minutes. So at that time, I can't believe, like I'm in darkness, like I'm trying to, wait, am I dreaming? Is it true? Did he just hit me? For what? And I am pregnant for him, and I thought this is the period where he was supposed to be all loving and whole. Actually, the love that we had should have now increased. That is how I thought it would be, at least. But now, he apologized. He was very sorry. He was very apologetic. He did everything that I wanted, like how they try to win you back, wanajaribu win back, no wa trust now, and then of course they end up doing it again. But now at this time, I'm not pretty sure why he hit me, but I'm thinking I don't want to be a single mom of two. Sitaki kukuwa single mom of two. Perhaps it's something that I can handle, and perhaps maybe I was in the wrong because I had not even communicated to him. So najiambia labda mimi ndo nilikuwa na makosa. Labda perhaps if I spoke with him, maybe story ingekuwa tofauti. But at this time unaendelea kujipatia excuses. When I make excuse for the person so that you find reasons to continue staying with them. So I stayed, of course. Of course, at this time we are not living together. He's living at his place and I am living at my place. But he would do frequent visits. It's like amesquat kidogo, okay? Amekuja tu anaishi kwangu, but kila mtu akona kwake. Unaget? Hatuja move in completely. Because he would say that perhaps he wanted to make sure that he's done everything right in terms of dowry payment, in terms of just following the process that every girl wants before she's married. That is what he was saying. So anasema mimi nataka ni follow process, nikupelekee mahari, alafu ndo sasa nikuje to move in pamoja. Unaelewa? And yeah, so that's how I was able to buy that story. I gave birth to my girl. Now, yule mse mwenye alikuwa anapenda sana my first daughter, akaenda kuwa ndo anamchukia even zaidi. Hataki mtoto yani akifanya kitu, kwanza akimsikia akiongea na slap. And I'm slap, and I'm like, wait, why are you even slapping her? She didn't do anything wrong. She was just trying to ask, or as much as she's nagging you, but bado ni mtoto, unaget, like you have no right to even hit her. but sasa nakaslap na nikatoto kadogo. But then those are another few signs that sasa zimeanza kuona, but naona maybe atakuja kuchange, maybe he's just going through something right now and atakuja kuchange. Sometimes when someone is going through stress, you don't know how they're going to react. And so that's how this lady, or rather myself, that's how I continued staying in this relationship. But now the frequency of the beating increased slowly, because initially alikuwa anaweza nichapa like once a week, but sasa inakuwa not once a week, once a month. But sasa ikaanza kukua ni kama kila wiki lazima nichapo, kila wiki mara 2 lazima nichapo. Na nachapa juu ya vitu zile hata hazi make sense at all. Now watoto wanaona vile mimi nachapa. And then another thing that I didn't mention again, I noticed that this person had another baby with another baby mama, and perhaps that is why he was not willing to marry me or like to move in with me or to do the due diligence, like in terms of ensuring that my dowry is paid and all that. So you can notice perhaps that's why. Now, so me knowing that increased my frequency of beating again, because kila wakati ilikuwa lazima nimuulize, na nikimuuliza lazima nichapwe hivyo. Imagine, like I ask, I am beaten. Now it reached a point where now the beating is just too much and I cannot take it anymore, and I decided to like just tell him, me and you are not working. Weenda tu mimi ndalia nini, mimi ndalia mtoto. Because at this point I have already done all the math, and I have known that with the little that I'm getting, at least I'm not paying rent. With the little that I'm getting, I will be able to take care of this girl. So I am okay with or without him. Too I ended because the beating is too much. And then I was thinking, I don't want my girls to end up in a toxic relationship and they think that it's okay. So I did not want that. I just wanted to ensure that my girls are safe, and also for the bigger one, because he had already started beating her, so I didn't know what he could do further to her, and that's why I decided to just end that relationship. And do you know, even after I ended that relationship, this guy ended up still beating me, coming my way all the time, just coming home all the time, and he would come and ask whether there's food. If there's no food, he's not beating me left, right, and center. And it reached a point where now everything was just not making sense to me. I moved from that place, a place that I had built with my own money. Nikasema the same God who gave me the same money to build and to buy that land will again provide more money for me to get another place. So I'm like, let me just move out, because he's just nagging, he's just becoming a bother, he's becoming troublesome and all that. But at this time, before I decided to move out, it had reached a point whereby I was, of course, everything was just not making sense to me. So at some point I was depressed, and I turned to be a different person from the person that I was, because I was a loving mom. I knew that I wanted my girls, I wanted everything good for my girls, but it reached a point where I'm like, no, it doesn't matter anymore. And nikaanza kukua a bitter mom. I started becoming a bitter mom. Like, I'm looking at those kids and I'm thinking, the struggle that I am going through right now, because for you to have a better life, it's because of your fathers. And I became a bitter person, and let me say I became a toxic mother, okay? A toxic mother, mimi nachapa tu mtoto, and akicross tu kitu kidogo, like I'm slapping left, right, and center. And the beating was just too much, until my first daughter felt its heaviness, okay? So I'd taken her to high school, so I have age for secondary school, and I'm like, no, this is just not making sense. What I'm going to do, the girl said to herself, because my mom is just beating me left, right, and center, what I will do is I just go away. At that time she was in Form 2, and she decided to just go away from home, and that's how she disappeared. I was expecting her to come back from school. She did not come. I tried to ask around the school. The school says that she didn't report that day. I am asking her friends telling me that they don't know where she is. And now I got even more depressed, because I knew I had messed up. I was looking for my girl everywhere. I was running like a headless chicken, looking for her like literally everywhere. I am going to the police, reporting that I have a missing girl. I would go to my relatives to see whether perhaps she had popped in there to seek for, just to stay there for some time. I'm looking for her everywhere. I did not see my girl. That's how she disappeared. All right. And later on, like I think after 3 months, she sent me a text. Hi, mom, I am okay. I just could not take it all in. All right. I am okay where I am, but I'm not continuing on with school anymore. So, now after, of course, some little engagements here and there, I noticed that she had already gotten married or rather she was staying with someone. She was staying with a man. And this man was older than her, of course. And at this point, by the time I'm noticing it, he had already gotten her pregnant. So she was already pregnant. And with the focus that I have on now the first one, I am trying to ensure that she is okay with the daughter and perhaps with the pregnancy and with the husband, quote unquote. Pushing on to try to seek for forgiveness from her and trying to at least get her on board and all that. At this particular point, I forgot that I had a second daughter. I forgot that I have another girl who was also dependent on me. And remember, this girl had also seen how the struggle that I'd gone through. She had also seen how her dad was beating me. And for her, at this point, she'd already decided that she is never getting married and that she is not going to be willing to take any orders from a man, because that is what she saw me going through and she would not want to go through the same. So this girl had already decided that she's not getting a man, and apart from even deciding not to get a man, because in any case she's very young, right? So but she has already set her mind, I am never going to get married. You understand? So I am putting my focus on the first one. I'm trying to win her back. Little did I know that I'm also losing my second daughter, and my second daughter developed habits of taking things that do not belong to her and hiding them, right? So stealing, that's what I mean. So she's stealing left, right, and center. My neighbors are complaining that perhaps something is missing and they don't know where they. And at some point, I realized that it's in my home. I'm asking her. She's like, she actually denies it 100%. But at this point, I'm taking it light because I'm like, maybe it's someone who, or maybe it's my Shama boys who perhaps took it and they have it there. A little did I know that it was actually her who was a thief. Okay, and I'm pushing this daughter. I have already lost. So at this point, I have lost all of them because I have lost my first one and the second one. First, she does not respect me. Second, she is already stealing. She is becoming a thief. And third, she has started knowing boys. At the tender age of 15, she already knows how she already knows a boyfriend. She knows boyfriend, girlfriend. And so she got pregnant again. The second one, she got pregnant. So I have now 2 daughters who are pregnant, but at this point, my first one has already given birth, and I'm even more confused. Literally, like I'm even more confused because how do I handle the situation? Remember, I do not have any parents, so at some point I lost all the parents. So I don't have parents to go to, and all my sisters are younger than me, and they are. We have been separated for more than for a lot of years. So we are not in touch. There are not people that I can just go call and have them advise me. But because of the confusion that I had, so my first daughter is old enough, she's already pregnant, she's staying with someone who at this point is taking very good care of her, by the way, and my second one is already pregnant. Everything again was just piling up on me, and wrong moves after wrong moves. I decided to just run away from everything and just go away to places that no one knows me, because at this point I have also borrowed some loan from the bank and I have been unable to pay it back. So I decided to just disappear in the thin air. something that I'm totally proud of. I regret something that I'm not proud of. So I left and came to Nairobi, a place where I knew I would still hustle and get some money here and there. And by the time I'm leaving, I know that my first daughter is okay with the husband. I knew my second daughter would go to the father's place because the grandma was still alive. I knew I'd already spoke with her and they were so fond of her, so I'd already advised her to just go and stay with them. And that's how I left. All right, that's how I left that place. Now, I eventually been able to just put my daughters together and talk to them and make amends. I did that, but I wish that I had done things differently in terms of like mentoring my girls and just loving them, giving them my attention, giving them my time, because I was outside pushing and looking for money. Little did I know that I was losing my girls. If I would at least spare some few minutes in a day or in a week to stay with them and to monitor them and to see what they love, what they do not love, at least that way I would have gotten the time and the opportunity to know them better and to guide them even better, right? So, but I did not get that time, and so I ended up losing my two daughters just like that. Like right now, I have made amends. Yes, I have spoken with my first daughter. She's okay with it, with me. My second daughter is also okay with me. She gave birth to two beautiful daughters. So I am a grandma of 4 beautiful grandchildren, because my first one also got another one. And I am pushing on with life. I am believing and trusting in God that I am going to be getting my man, someone who can love and cherish me. Of course, someone who would not want more kids, because we have menopause, and I know that I am going to get that person. Okay, so my word to you, or my advice to you moms, single moms, is that number 1, do not live with a man who shows signs or who has been domestic violent with you. Someone who is hitting you, someone who is, and when you're saying that, it is not just yourself who is getting hurt, but you're also hurting your kids, you're hurting every other person around you, and you're becoming someone who cannot do better as a person. So at this point, just ensure that you're making the right decision. Do not stay when it hurts. Do not stay with a man when you know very well that you are not happy in that relationship. You understand? Secondly, never ever know how to balance. Know how and when to balance your love with your kids. Do not love one kid more, and ensure that you're giving all your kids enough time. Money is good. Money is important. It is what, of course, we all need to have comfortable lives. But if seeking for the money means that you're going to be getting away from your daughters, it's not worth it. It's totally not worth it. Ensure that as you're looking for your money, at least you get enough time with your kids and you are advising them accordingly, okay? And lastly, guys, the last thing that you want to do is to be bitter with your children because you're having differences with your man. If at any point you realize that you are developing those particular signs, seek assistance, seek therapy, talk to someone. People are here to assist. There are people who are just so willing to sit down and assist us. So if you're going through that particular moment, ensure that you're talking to someone who is willing to listen and who is going to assist you. But do not sit and ensure, because the moment you sit, it is just piling up and everything is not making sense to you and you're losing it, and you might end up doing more harm to yourself and to the people around you. So ensure that the moment you sit down and you realize that perhaps you're becoming a bitter person, that you sit down and that you seek therapy with immediate effect. Or like if you don't even have the money for therapy, talk to someone. You could go to your pastor if you're a Christian. You could go to, just seek assistance from your religious leaders, seek assistance from your parents, from your friends, and you're going to get it. But do not assume and do not sit down and be like it's normal and everyone is going through the same and all that. No, it is not normal for you to be bitter with your kids. You are supposed to love them. It is a delegation. It is what the Lord, it is like God giving you a divine role on this earth of parenthood, of motherhood. Take care of your kids. And the moment you realize that perhaps things are not moving that way, it is about time you seek assistance. You understand? Yeah, so that has been the story. Now, if If you have a very inspiring story that you'd like the world to know about, and you are a camera shy person, it's fine. It's still okay. Just call me and I'm going to ensure that your story reaches to the right people. Okay? Call me and I'm going to come here and tell your story. And we are all going to be happy. You understand? But do not sit down with a story that is meant to inspire. You may not know what another person. Okay. We could be having someone who is waiting for that story so that they can, of course, open their eyes and see that they needed to have done or to make the right decision early enough. So when you're sitting with your story you don't know, you are denying someone the blessings. You understand? Yeah. All right. So thank you so much for your time and for sticking around. I was giving that story on behalf of an anonymous follower who decided to give me their story, and they said that they don't want to be viewed on camera. If you have an interesting story, just tell me and I'm going to be here seated to tell your story. And if you're watching us today and you have not subscribed, please, okay, kindly ensure that you are subscribing to my YouTube channel, and I am going to really appreciate it. Okay, up to that point, thank you so much for your time and for sticking around. Let me know down below on the comment section what you found interesting in this story and what you have learned from this story, okay? So thank you so much for your time. Until next time, bye.